News with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, of course, there is a lot of news today, especially pandemic news, but I cannot miss this opportunity to speak with Mr. Imperioli this close and not ask you a question, if that's all right. I'm one of those crazy fan nerds that's seen the series 17 times, and we just finished it again recently, and the podcast is great. I finished the second episode. I have the books. I'm a crazy person. My fiance, who's seen the show as much as I have, believes to his core that this show is not about the mafia. It's about children learning how to deal with the effect that parents with behavioral and personality disorders have on their children. And I know that everybody gets a different theme. I know you said on your podcast that one of the recurring themes is feeling underappreciated. Every character at some point talks about how they're underappreciated. So would you, A, care to validate him or break his heart? And B, what other themes do you think we might have missed in our 17 viewings?
I think he's really onto something. You know, the last show, the podcast we recorded, hasn't been released yet, but there's a scene when Livia's talking to Junior and basically is saying that her son needs to be killed. Without saying it. And I said, Steve, so she really wants her son dead. I said, that's so psychotic and fucked up, mentally, that it's bigger than anything else on the show in a weird way, thematically, So, and David did say that what he wanted when, the kernel, the seed of the show was about his relationship with his mother.
Right.
His mother was a very interesting character, not as extreme as Livia, but there were elements of that. He just, expanded on that. So I do think your husband is really onto something.
Oh, all his Christmases just
I'm
came
sorry,
at
I
once.
said the F word because I used to say it on my podcast. I don't know if you allow it. So
please, by all means.
That's okay? All right. I'm not a big cursor, but I just did it. Right?
Maybe the psychodynamic part of that series of The Sopranos, maybe that is what secretly attracted so many people who didn't appear. Because if you said to most people look at mafia gangster movies kind of like they look at Westerns. They go, not my genre. Mm-hmm. Don't like Westerns. But the Western guys don't like sci-fi. So since when why would a majority maybe even of women love The Sopranos? Why is this so enticing to such a large and such a varied group of Americans? Everyone I knew loved it, and they didn't feel that way about Westerns or sci-fi. No. That broke them off,
And to your point, almost every male character is equal parts lovable and despicable. Chrissy being at the very top of that list.
Right.
Yeah. So and the women are very strong characters.
Yes.
In the show. I mean, even and because I haven't watched these episodes since they initially aired, so I'm on episode 11 right now. I've watched 11, so I'm going week by week. Even you see Jamie Lynn Sigler's character, Meadow, she's like a mob wife in training in a way. Yes. She's hardcore and tough. She doesn't give Christopher up when, she buys drugs from him and she could have. And she's very honest with her father and bluntly asks him, is he in the mafia? And there's a strength to him. She's not afraid of anything, it seems. You know? And Edie as well, when they have to stash, they know the feds are, going to search the house and they stash the guns and money and stuff. Edie's paves the way for that by going to the nursing home and getting rid of Livia.
Right. And she does such an incredible job of being both complicit and completely out of the loop by design at the same time. The whole show is a masterpiece.
No. Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree. Everyone agrees.
Yeah.
I also am. I guess I'm pretty pure about it because I got on late, which is I got on, I don't know, season 3 or something and fell in love with it, which is different. A lot of people had been watching it, obviously been talking about it, been telling me to watch it. I just don't watch a series that often. But so I got onto it late, and it would have been easy to go, come on, what's everyone talking about? I told you. Like, there's a part where you kind of want to be right when you don't go out and see something early on, but I was immediately hooked. Sorry, go ahead, Gina.
All right, let's do some news if we must. So the Center for Disease Control and Prevention now says we're supposed to practice social distancing from our family pets. It's official. We talked about the pug yesterday. We've talked about the zoo animals and the cats. Everybody already thinks their pet is their human family member, and scientists want us to extend that treatment with respect to this virus. Again, we talked about the cats, the dogs, the tigers. They are contracting COVID-19.
I fucking wrestle with my fucking dog every fucking night.
Oh, you guys will be fine.
Every goddamn night.
Tuesday, the CDC released these new guidelines, and I quote, "Do not let pets interact with people or animals outside the household. Good luck to you, Adam. If a person inside the household becomes sick, isolate them from everyone, including pets."
Well, again, it's a good first world problem to have, you know. While other countries are thinking about eating their pets, we're talking about getting maybe the ultimate social distancing in a bizarre way, actually eliminating the pet and consuming it. Ingesting the pet.
I got a little bit afraid because the big happy story, the big silver lining to this pandemic, this quarantine, has been all the shelters are empty. Everybody's home. They want to adopt a new family member, a new pet, and now the shelters are cleaned out. And isn't that wonderful? Are these animals going to find themselves back at the pound now that the CDC is saying that?
I don't know, but if I can't go out with one of my friends and have a goddamn steak and a martini, I am going to eat someone's pet. I'm starting to get to that point now. The greatest love of my adult life was going out for a steak and a martini with a friend, and that's, I don't know what we're on, week 7 or 6 or whatever, for me not doing that, but that's starting to drive me nuts, and I want to start opening steakhouses. I don't care. I don't care about nail salons. I don't care about tattoo parlors. Fuck those
essential businesses.
Essential steak houses.
And with those banquettes, you probably do have the 6 feet.
We fucking. I was literally thinking about it, like Kevin Hench and I had a booth that they would always give us at Morton's. I'd just call them up. Go Sunday night, 6:00, your usual booth. I go, yeah. And we'd go sit in a far corner with this big high booth, just 2 dudes. There wasn't anyone near us. Like, it would work. Sorry, Brian.
I was going to say, Gina, I know you're not an enthusiastic meat eater, but the steakhouses, most like traditional steakhouses don't have the banquettes. That's the great thing about them. They're all booths. They're all red booths and throwback leather. And so that's actually probably a good place to open up.
Yeah. Well, you probably know this by now, but Joe Biden has officially been endorsed by Hillary Clinton. The former Democratic presidential nominee made the announcement Tuesday during this virtual town hall. Here it is.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's a real pleasure to be here with you and to be part of this very important discussion. And I am thrilled to be part of your campaign to not only endorse you, but to help highlight a lot of the issues that are at stake in this presidential election.
Is it even possible, after having Veep on the air for so long, to take any of these seriously? When I just think of Julia Louis-Dreyfus gritting her teeth, seething through these interviews, like it all just seems so fake.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, is this going to mark the end of the traditional politician? Like, Trump is a circus show, but he's not traditional. You could argue he definitely is anything but traditional. Might we be going another direction? Like, let's just say the kind of, put the suit on and put the flag lapel on and, polish your teeth and all that sort of people you've had arguments with and done battles with and all that kind of stuff, and they come on and everyone does a very sort of canned, sterilized approach, and it's something it's been that way for a long time. Might we just start seeing the renegade outlaw free talking? I mean, movies, if you think about it, movies are always kind of ahead of what we're doing as a society. They make movies about pandemics, 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Then they make movies about living on Mars or going to outer space or, all this stuff. Yeah.
Truman Show begat like reality shows, right? And like Castaway kind of begat Survivor and et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. And what they do, Department of Homeland Security will go to sci-fi novelists and go, what's Al-Qaeda got cooking? Like what you tell us with your creative mind, like we're pencil pushers over here. You have a creative mind. You tell us what the future shall hold. And in a way, I mean, I wrote a book called In 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks, and half that shit's come true by now. So, I mean, if you go to the kind of creative people, the Hollywood people, and you go, what's going to happen? Well, every single one of their movies about the next president is usually some plain talking Kevin Costner, aw shucks kind of guy who's just going to speak from the hip and
tell like it is.
He's going to get off the prompter and loosen his tie up a little and have some straight talk with America. He's not a professional politician. He's a farmer who knows a man's handshake is his bond or whatever. Like maybe that's what's coming. It'd be nice.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And if anyone's dying to get back to the, quote unquote, traditional candidate, I think my prediction is it'll take another presidential term. I think there's too many people that are loving this free talking, a non-traditional presidency.
Yeah.
Do you think enough people are excited to get Biden involved?
No, I wish somebody a little more animated or a little more exciting was over there than Biden. But
Beto shot his shot.
Well, my only thought is the chaos premise. And I've always said this, like at a certain point, you will take boring over neighbors who never stop partying 24/7. Like at a certain point, you just want an elderly couple to move in across the street and you go, yeah, but you can't go over there and get lit up with those guys and sit in the back of their pickup truck and drink Schlitz. It's like, I know, I want to get some sleep. Yeah. Like there could be don't we just want to just go to bed and not think about this?
Bringing it back to Goodfellas. At a certain point, Tommy wore out his welcome. You know what I mean? Like he was a made guy, or he was in the system, and he was doing his own thing. At a certain point, they just got tired of it.
That's that. Yeah, well, nothing they could do.
You brought up, going to the movie makers and saying, "What has Al-Qaeda got cooking?" The last couple of days, people have some real responses to this UFO footage. The Pentagon on Monday officially declassified and released 3 short videos, which we'll show you, of UFOs which had previously been leaked. The videos, which are taken by Navy pilots, show what appear to be unidentified flying objects. They call them unidentified aerial phenomena. The military says it decided to officially release the videos in order to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage was real, whether it exists. And we don't have the audio here, but you do hear one of the pilots say to the other, like, "Oh man, dude, did you just see that? It just flipped." Like, so there is stuff out there that freaks people out. And we talked about this on the Conway show last night, where he said that there are regular old pilots, commercial pilots, that see things in the air and don't report it because they don't want to be accused of being crazy or drunk or anything else.
Well, it's funny. I've saw a lot of this footage. This footage is older. I mean, in that it's been around for a year.
Yeah. But now it's official.
And it looks like a UFO, or it is a UFO, which is
unidentified.
Doesn't mean it's a spaceship, but
I live up by Vandenberg Air Force Base. It's a little north up the coast from me, from Santa Barbara. I see weird shit flying over there quite often. Stuff that, if I knew it wasn't an Air Force base, I'd be like worried or really freaked out. But it's some kind of experimental things that hover. They have weird lights. They fly and. I asked someone else, they said, "Oh yeah, for years there's stuff that flies around up there."
Well, what do you think about this stuff? I mean, this stuff's filmed like over the ocean. I don't know how far away from shore. Here's my thought, which I just like to look at kind of the human response to things. I grew up, and when I grew up, it was all this like UFO talk, and farmers found the wreckage, but the CIA showed up with a flatbed truck and put a tarp over it and went out under the cover of darkness, and it was like tons of UFO conspiracy, UFO. It's all inside a Cheyenne Mountain. They're hiding the stuff. Right. Area, is it 51?
51.
Area 51, blah, blah, blah. It was like nonstop UFO. They're hiding it. They're hiding the secret. The government knows UFO. And so I grew up on a steady diet of that. And then I see this footage a year ago, and I'm like, hey, I think that is a UFO. Huh. And then I paused, and I thought, what's for dinner? We eating meatloaf tonight? And I thought, wait a minute. I'm doing the UFO what we did with Lance Bass, which is all we want to know is that he's gay because we think he's gay. Once he says, I'm gay, we go, all right, moving on. Mm-hmm. And like once the government goes, hey, we think it is a UFO, we go, oh, all right, moving on.
Mission's confirmed.
Had a hunch.
Right. It's like when you try to hide shit from us, we go nuts. But as soon as you push it out front, we kind of go, all right. I mean, this is not even a big news story, except for potentially it means there's intelligent life that has, mechanical abilities and other realms or galaxies or worlds that have come down to explore us, which would seem like pretty big news.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We should get Mr. DeGrasse Tyson on to weigh in on that, though I'm sure he's done it 1,000 times.
But if we were to really make contact with some other alien, race or something like that, it would be really weird if it was during this administration. Like if the meeting happened on TV, there's a press conference at the Rose Garden with the alien chief and it would be, I can't imagine anything more.
Trump would be like, thank you very much for this book to serve humans. Our gratitude.
Good pull.
Take a Sopranos DVD.
Right, exactly.
So, so I kind of feel about UFOs the way I feel about if there is a heaven and if there is a God, which is, people say, well, you're not religious, so if there is a heaven and if there is a God, then you're not getting in. And I'm like, hey, man, I raised my kids. I pay my taxes. I'm a good neighbor. I would get in. I'm not harmed anybody. I'd get in. And my feeling is sort of that way with UFOs in the sense that, or aliens, which is like, if you guys had constructed, if you were technologically advanced enough to construct this apparatus to fly down light years to see us and have all this ability, I think you're just going to have the cure to this corona thing in your back pocket. Yeah, like, I don't think you're going to be evil.
If you're capable of interstellar or intergalactic travel, what, you think you're going to come here and shoot everyone with ray guns? No, you're an advanced species.
And a lot of that, I'm kind of thinking, because I am loosely based, Nazi Germany aside, the worst cultures are the least technologically advanced, by and large. I have found on this planet. So I'm hoping the whatever the equivalent of the terrorist would be on the other planet, which they wouldn't be the ones building the spaceship and visiting us. They'd be throwing rocks at the spaceship when it was trying to take off.
Although you do talk a lot about, studying people, and I'm now cynical enough to think, I always thought, you know what, the one thing that will unite all of humanity, we'll all stop, we'll all put whatever our weapons down, and we will all band together if somebody from another world came to attack us. Now, no way. We will turn on each other. We will push the other person to the front of the line. I think it'll get worse.
And also, what about these other planets? Because if we sent a representative from our planet could have a representative coming from Germany or Sweden or Canada, but could also have a representative coming from Puerto Rico or Jamaica or Mexico. Like, we got a lot of different representatives with a lot of different thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Or is their planet just all one? Because we always do that with aliens. Like, they're all one. But think about us. We disagree about everything. We look quite different. Diverse. We act different. We just affect. Chris grew up playing soccer and lacrosse. What the fuck? I grew up out here playing football. We are very different. Who's to say they're not different?
Yeah. We'll find out soon enough. Speaking of flying apparati, in Florida, UPS is now going to use drones to deliver prescription medication from a CVS pharmacy to a big retirement community down there. If everything works right, the system, which is called MatterNet M2, those drones, will be able to deliver medicine to more than 135,000 residents in the community without those residents ever leaving their homes.
Hey,
and
I
think there's going to be more of that.
Now we're talking all about refitting everything, and we're started the show talking about Budweiser making hand sanitizer and Ford making respirators and stuff like that. How about the people that made the T-shirt cannons for the Lakers games? Shouldn't they be rebooting to fire medication into old age homes? You know, I mean, those things could fire a Lakers T-shirt up to the fifth row up there. You know, they get a good 80 yards of distance on those.
Absolutely.
Fill it up with Nana's medication. Yeah, I mean, drones are expensive. Have a hot chick and have like a Lakers girl. Right. They're not working.
She's the only one who knows how to operate the gun.
That's right. She's already been bonded and licensed with the T-shirt cannon gun. So and by the way, she's easy on the eyes and she's out of work. You know what I mean? So get her in full Lakers cheerleading regalia. Have her show up at the old age home or wherever the at-risk people are. Fire the medication at them. Again, she knows how to handle it. And let's bring a little pomp and circumstance back to this, a little levity. And again, the drones, the military needs those, and they're expensive.
That's right. Well, they play the, yo, ready for this?
They got to play the music.
Well, some bad news for cheaters, but good news for cheating websites. The New York Post reports that cyber affairs are thriving during the quarantine, with spouses stuck at home with each other and maybe not getting along so well. Ashley Madison, that's the site aimed at cheating spouses who conducted the study, said that 17,000 new members are added a day in the midst of this pandemic. Usually it's 15,500, so about 1,700 extra members a day. Some people want to chat with someone other than their spouse. Some are seeking emotional validation. Others don't kind of want that fantasy secret sex, according to the study. And the website even has a new tagline leaning into all this, says, "Life is short, have an affair."
Wasn't that always their tagline?
Let's see.
For some reason,
it was always implied. It was always implied.
Well, during the membership drive, when I got 60% off,
free,
and then I got another 20% off after recruiting new members and the referral system, I remember that was their rallying cry. Yeah. I think it was. So, but you're not physically touching anyone. You're just
dicking around online.
Touching yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't we have internet porn to kind of fill this void? Pardon the pun.
But I think this must be people who want that real deal, that cam girl connection.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking about coaching up my son. You know, I invented the art of spunk shui, which is how to sort of arrange a man's office so he can't get caught looking at internet porn. I've applied it.
You laugh, but
I've actually laid it out at people's houses. But you know, I'm gonna have to teach my son. He's 13. The one of the tells of looking at internet porn is slamming the laptop shut when the person walks into the room.
Nothing? Yeah. Why? What?
Yeah, because if I'm on Bring a Trailer looking at a Mustang, I don't slam the fucking thing shut if my wife walks into the room, right?
Or that's a tell. Yeah. That's a giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Yeah. Dead giveaway.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way to do that. All right, Gina, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.